I'm Mia St. John, and this is The American Athlete. I was always very competitive. My dad started me in Taekwondo when I was 6 years old. He was fascinated with the martial arts, and so he put me and my sister and my brother in the martial arts, and I stayed in it till I was about somewhere in my 20s, and I became fascinated with boxing because I saw Christy Martin fighting on the Tyson cards, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. And I got an offer from Don King to turn pro. I fell in love with boxing from the moment I started it. And I don't know whether it was hitting someone or just the thrill of competition and the fear that goes along with walking into the ring. The adrenaline rush is so extreme because your life is on the line. And when you're in the ring and you're fighting, there's no drug that could even compare to this feeling. And then when you're done, and if you won, there's the famous quote, "The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat is so real." It's just the ultimate high. And then to lose is the ultimate depression. So some of the fights, I had to gain weight, a lot of the fights. And people think, oh, well, that's great, like now you don't have to lose weight. No, it's even harder because it's not like you can sit around eating Twinkies. Like you still have to eat the same type of food. You just have to double or triple it. And it's very difficult because like how much of that stuff can you eat? And we're trying to put on muscle, not fat. So especially for a woman, it's very difficult. And I think that's why after I retired, I admitted to using anabolic steroids. And it's something that like I was obviously never proud of, but at the same time, you're in a profession where this is how you make your living. And if you don't make the weight, you obviously don't get paid. So there's a lot of pressure on fighters to make that weight. And what people don't realize is that for professional athletes, like this is how we make a living. So we have bills to pay and we have kids to take care of. And when it's your livelihood, it's a different story. It's not like we're out there doing this for fun, because if we were, then it just wouldn't be worth it. When I was in my prime in the 90s, like that is what everybody was doing. In all the camps, I mean, steroids were huge. In fact, that's how it started, was in my own gym with my sparring partner giving me the steroids. Everybody in the gym was doing it. I mean, people don't like me saying everybody. I'm sure there were some that didn't, but a lot were doing the same thing. I tried to avoid it for a long time, but once my sparring partners started doing it, I realized they were out-punching me much stronger, much faster, and I just felt like I got to a point where I could not compete or keep up unless I joined. And so it's very difficult for an athlete. It's a very difficult decision because you don't want to do it, but you feel like you're put in this position where you kind of have to. After I started doing the steroids, I noticed that I got faster, I had more endurance, I could last longer, I had more muscle mass. But there's also like a lot of damage that goes with steroids. And I believe that it was the cause for my 2 hip replacements, or actually three hip replacements, because I started to get necrosis in my bones. And that's one of the downfalls of steroids, is that it does eventually start to destroy, or can destroy, your bones. And I believe that that's how and why it happened to me. I feel that PEDs are used so much in sports. I can't judge the people that do them because I understand, I get it. I don't think there's a way around it because Even if the testing becomes more evolved, so will the people making the steroids. And there's always a way to get around testing. Sports will have to come to the realization that one day that they're probably not going to ever be able to stop it completely. I just think it's unavoidable. So what I do now is just full-time mental health advocacy. I have a foundation that I started called El Saber es Poder, Knowledge is Power. And we started the foundation in Mexico, and then I started programs in the United States. I started these programs because my son was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So I was always interested in mental illness. So now we help the homeless who suffer from mental illness or juveniles who are in the system. So I spend my life doing that, which I think is, even though like you don't have the adrenaline rush anymore, which I miss, I think what I'm doing now is far more significant than my career. But I'm glad that my career gave me the platform. Like now I can speak out about mental health and become a better advocate because of my career. What I'm fighting for is that we become more educated about mental illness. We have such a homeless problem in Los Angeles, but it's not really a homeless problem. It's a mental health problem, because if you talk to a lot of these people, a lot of them are suffering from mental illness. So if we focused more on finding a cure for these illnesses, maybe they could lead a productive life rather than spending the rest of their life in prison. So my hope is that we become more educated as a society and focus more on the real problem. It's a shift going from spending my life hurting people, and now I just want to help people. I no longer want to hurt anyone.